So, welcome everyone. Today we are going to discuss about fundamentals of digital forensics. Okay. Just before starting, a very quick question: how many of you are aware about what digital forensics is and how it works? What is the role of digital forensics in security? What are the things we are going to discuss? I'll be telling that. But before that, anyone who is aware about digital forensics? Anyone? You can put a message in the chat as well. Anyone who you can put your message in the chat. Okay, so we'll be starting with very basics, what digital forensics is and all. Everything will be covering from very basics. No issues at all. Okay, so let us start. Before going into digital forensics, we have a little bit prerequisite. We need to understand like what are the various data units, what is number system, and what is basic understanding of computer. So without taking much time, I'll just covering a very basic part of this, that this is how the data in a computer is recognized. The term is called data units. So the smallest unit of data is something called a bit, right? So as we all know, I believe we all know that data inside computer is always understood in form of zeros and ones, right? There are only two forms of data available, whether it will be zero or it will be one. But the smallest value, either it will be zero or it will be one, right? So now in that 0 and 1, that is called something called a bit. So bit may be 0 or 1. A group of bits up to 8 bits. A group of 8 bits is called as byte. So that is very fundamental. You might have learned this into your 8th or 9th class as well, I believe. But still in digital forensics, this is very important to understand, because everything what we are going into, we need to understand the final concept, how storage device works. That is the most important part of digital forensics. So now when we talk about bit and byte, and then we say KB, kilobyte, MB, megabyte, GB, gigabyte, TB, terabyte, ZB, zettabyte, a lot, PT, petabytes, a lot many type of storage units are there, but the basic fundamental unit is always one, whether it will be zero or it will be one. Now there are different storage mechanisms, how it is getting stored and all, we'll be discussing a little later. But yes, this is the basic concept of bits and bytes. Now I hope everyone is aware about data bits, that bit is the smallest unit of computer storage or data, smallest unit of data, right? Then second is something called number systems. So now in form of computer do not understand number system. Similarly, for our convenience, we have created many more number systems like octal, decimal, hexadecimal. Uh, like you might have read it about in your 12th class as well if you are from science background. So all these are number systems. Why we are curious about this? Because in digital forensics, we often read the hexadecimal data. So we should be aware how to convert that data, how to read that data, how that data is being converted. Obviously, everything will be done by tools. You need not to do the calculations manually by taking pen and paper that it is hexadecimal. But yes, hexadecimal view of data is very, very good to see. And since it is easy for humans to read the hexadecimal data compared to binary. And finally, some basic understanding of computer and storage. So we'll be discussing about those in detail, but although you should be knowing that computer is a device, CPU, components of CPU are the, what is the basic structure of the computer, like the von Neumann architecture. We generally say it has one input device, then one processing unit, then one output device, then some storage unit. So we'll be considering the computer as a whole, with processor and storage device, right? And for those, we'll be discussing about digital forensic parts. So am I making sense so far? Yes, you are. Please remember, the chat is mandatory. You have to provide your options in the chat, or you can unmute yourself at any time, and if you want to ask any question, you can unmute yourself and ask the questions as well. The more benefit you will get if you will do the interaction. Otherwise, I'll be just completing my PPT and we won't be able to learn anything new, right? So please do ask the questions. Please give your reactions in the chat if you are getting the point, if you are not getting the point. So shall I proceed forward? Shall I proceed forward?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. So now, as we have discussed about data units, similarly, we have something called storage devices, storage unit in computer. As I told you, computer is like input device, output device, processing unit, and storage unit. So we are more concerned about the storage unit of the computer, because in forensics, we'll be dealing with the storage devices, right? Today, we'll be taking from the perspective of cybersecurity, we'll be learning the digital forensics from the perspective of cybersecurity. So why digital forensics is useful, I'll be coming to that part after just storage devices. So storage in computer can be divided into three categories. One is primary, second one is tertiary, secondary, and third is tertiary. Simple. Now, if we consider the architecture of the computer, how a computer is getting connected, created, or storage is getting connected with the computer. So computer has something called motherboard. On the motherboard, some storage units are directly connected on the motherboard. No cable and something directly connected on the motherboard, or some are inbuilt on processor as well. These storage unit to which computer has direct access called primary storage units. Primary storage unit contains RAM, the most important component of computer, that is called random access memory, RAM. And in forensics, trust me, whenever we are talking about malware attacks, ransomware analysis, and other types of malware analysis and all, RAM is the most crucial source of information. So RAM is most crucial because it contains almost everything running in the computer. So random access memory is one type of memory which is called primary memory. Second, it has more crucial thing, ROM, which we generally say read-only memory, which contains the instructions for the computer and other things. So in our childhood, we have studied about RAM and ROM, that the random access memory is getting randomly accessed by the computer, and ROM is just read-only memory. We cannot write anything to that. And all these are the primary definitions of this, what we have learned in our childhood. But now, as a forensic perspective, RAM and ROM both have different aspects. As we are talking about RAM, random access memory, which is a memory whenever I run anything on the computer system, whenever I run anything, whether I'm switching on the computer, whether I'm running Word document, whether I'm opening or typing in a
Hello. Yeah, for others, audio is not able to hear anything.
hello. Can anyone please?
Yeah. Now it's yeah. We can able to hear you now.
Okay, sir. Just give
But
me a moment. Just give me a moment, sir. I'll
you
just.
can keep your mic little bit
Yeah, yeah.
near.
That's what I'm doing. Just give me a moment, sir. Yeah. Hello. Am I audible now, sir?
It's
Yes,
audible.
Nitin.
Okay, thank you. So
But
let me share my
but the
screen again.
screen
Yeah.
was not
I'll
visible.
just sharing. I'm just sharing it. Okay. So can anyone please confirm till what point you were able to hear me? Hello. Hello. Am I audible?
Nitin, I think so. You can start with introductions to store devices.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Okay. So basically, storage devices are something which are the most crucial part for investigation, digital forensics. As we were talking about primary memory contains RAM, ROM, cache memory, and CPU registers. These are some of the primary memory. And why does it called primary memory? Because it is directly accessible. You can directly connect it with the CPU. It is already being connected with the CPU directly. For example, cache memory and registers are built on the processor itself. The chips are like these are inbuilt on CPU itself, and for RAM we have the slot on CPU, which directly we can directly connect it with the CPU processor. That's why the first point of access, always the first point of access for the CPU. That's why it is called primary memory. And I was talking about RAM. RAM is the most crucial and most fundamental part for the investigation. So anything running on the system will have the traces in RAM. First, whenever I will be trying to run anything in my system, from the starting of my system, booting of my system, first every application, every document I'm opening, every browsing window, everything I'm browsing on browser, everything will come to RAM first, and then it will go to the secondary memory or somewhere else. So every activity will have a trace on RAM. That's why RAM is the most crucial part of investigation. Then coming to secondary storage, the storage which is not directly connected, but yes, it can be connected through the ports available on the system, through the ports available on the system, which is generally called secondary memory, contains USB devices, hard disk, and other things. And third is tertiary, and basically secondary memory contains the storage data because size is larger. So we generally store all of our data in secondary memory. All again, it in cases of malware attacks or in cases of ransomware and all, we do have traces of all these in secondary memory as well. Then something called tertiary memory, which is not directly connected with, these are generally getting connected with the help of some third-party connectors like CD. To read the CD drives, we need to connect a CD driver, right? Uh, so these are called tertiary memory, not generally used now, but still some part of memories are kept in tertiary memories. So these are different type of storage devices which may be useful for the investigation. And this is the hierarchy. If we see the storage device hierarchy, so we can see, if we see it as a triangle, so if we come from top to bottom, the size of storage capacity, not the drive, is getting increased. But if we going from bottom to top, the cost is getting increases. For example, the registers are very smaller in size fixed on the CPU itself, connected on the CPU itself, processor itself, and our most costliest storage device available. Whereas with minimum storage capacity, they do not have much storage capacity. They have generally have storage capacity in KBs, and multiple registers comes together to create a storage device, right? Then cache memory, then main memory, then SSD. Magnetic disk here means the hard disk. What we generally use is hard disk drive, HDD. So as we are coming down top to bottom, SSDs are more costlier than HDD, and SSDs are now coming in as the new storage devices. Like in form of SSD, we have now M2 chips as well, right? So this is the storage triangle what we generally see. Okay, so now enough about storage. This is all about storage. Let us go for some practical tips that how we can see the data of RAM and other things. So let us see. I'll just show you a demonstration that where and how we can see. So for that, I'll be just opening. Just give me a moment. Yeah, so I'll be opening one tool called WinHex. Here I'll be opening one tool called WinHex, which is nothing but a hexadecimal editor. So this is the tool WinHex, right? And in this particular tool, if I open my RAM, there is an option called RAM, and if I open this, okay, I'm not able to open because I have run it as a normal. I'll have to run it as administrator so that I'll have more control over the tool. Okay, so still I'm not able to my system. I think it is preventing it. Yeah, so let me open some storage device and I'll show you that. Yeah, okay. So I have opened one storage device. So this is how on the storage device data is stored. You can see, I can see the complete data in form of hexadecimal thing. So whatever data will be there in that storage device, everything you can see here, a lot many things are there. And all the data will be showed in form of hexadecimal numbers. You need not to worry about it. What does it mean? Why it is looking like this and everything. I'm just giving you an overview that this is how the entire data in computer looks like. Right? So that's why I told you you should be little bit familiar with the hexadecimal notations, that these are the hexadecimal notation and this is how the data looks like. You can take a feel of the data. So every storage device in the computer stores data in form of binary only, zeros and one. But for our convenience, since 0 and 1, seeing data in form of zeros and 1 is very typical. So we'll be seeing the data in form of hexadecimals. And on this pen where you are seeing this data, this is called the raw data, right? On the left hand side, there is hexadecimal numbers, and on the right hand side, there is hexadecimal data. And if you see the column called offset, so offset you can consider, if you consider memory as collection of pages like a book, right? If you consider memory as a book, then offset will be the page number of that particular book. So basically the entire memory is divided in form of bits, as I told you initially. So combination of 8 or 16 bit. So we can see it, there are 16 zeros here or 8 zeros here. So the combination or offset is represented in that form. Now it is 8 zeros and now it is 16 zeros. So you can see from page number 0 to page number 16, it is coming here. So this is 16 bit representation and this is 8 bit representation for the offset. Bytes, basically 1 byte or 2 byte representation for the offset. If you're not getting it, no worries. One by one we'll go towards each and every concept of all these things. But this is how data inside the storage device looks like. And there is one more tool I'll be using that is called FTK Imager, which is one of the wonderful tool I'll be showing. But before that, we have seen the data, that how data looks like in the storage device. Now let us understand another important concept of data, that how data gets stored and deleted. So as I told you, in computer, whenever I will store something, it shows, as I showed you here in this particular tool, in this particular WinHex, you are able to see the data is stored in this form. Here you can see all the data is available here. Now let me do some experiments with that particular thing, and after that we'll be discussing more things. So for example, I have one document called AI and ML, right? I'll just copy this document and I'll be just uh, going to my USB drive, and here I'll be putting up this document again. So now you can see I have just copied this document called AI and ML here, right? Now this AI and ML document is here and you all are able to see this particular document. Let me see this document in the WinHex again. So let me open the WinHex again. Just open the WinHex again and I'll try to see that. Yeah. So I'll just open the WinHex again and I'll try to see that document whether it is available in WinHex or not. Okay. So let me open this, and as I have already opened this document, open this in. So now here you can see this is the document. This is the contents of document. Whatever you are seeing here, these all are the content of document. And now I'm able to see this particular document here as well, right? Am I clear so far? Okay. So now let me do something interesting. I'll just go to that document again and I'll try to delete that document from here now. So this is the document and I'll press shift and delete. Okay, I won't be able to delete it. Yeah, now it is done. So now you can see the document is deleted. Now shift and delete I have pressed and now document is completely deleted, right? Great. Let me go to WinHex again and let me refresh this, reopen this and let me check whether the document is still there or not. So let me check and you can see the document is still here. I can see the content of document, but the interesting part is now there is a question mark sign before the document. For all the documents, you can see there is a file-like structure, but now here for this document, there is a question mark sign. What does this question mark sign defines? This question mark sign defines that this document does not exist in this storage media anymore, right? If I see the drive again, I'm not able to see this document and this question mark sign as well. Now I'll be using one more tool. I can use this as well, but I'll be using one more tool, which is called FTK Imager. And I'll be trying to see that whether I am able to see that particular document from some other tool as well or not. So let me open this and let me just, I'll just tell you everything, whatever I'm doing in a minute. But yeah, so now I'll go to root and so if I find AI and ML docs, you can see a cross sign, red cross sign here. That simply means the document is deleted but still available in the memory. How it is happening? If I try to see my pen drive, once again, I'm not able to locate that document. But everything else is there. Everything else is there except this particular document, right? On this document, I have cross sign, which I have deleted in front of you. That simply means data is deleted from the pen drive, but still tools are able to access that data, how it is happening. Let us understand the logic behind this particular thing. Okay. So you might have watched a movie called Golmaal, right? In the Golmaal movie, there is a one very good scenario, the Ajay Devgan's one, Ajay Devgan's Golmaal, where in one room, 4 people stays in that room, and the 3, Ajay Devgan, Arshad Warsi, and the other one, Tushar Kapoor, I guess, Tushar Kapoor, they have been removed from the college. They are very senior, expelled from the college, but still staying in the hostel room, right? So similarly in storage device, what happened, if this is your storage device, so it will be like your book. Storage device, consider storage device as a book. in that book, what is happening? In that book, we have one column for the index. We have one part for the index. So this is the index of the book, and the remaining part is the complete book. Now this complete book is divided into multiple smaller parts, like rooms or pages. We can say pages, right? So these all are different pages in this book. I'll just create it. Give me a moment. Just give me a moment. Let us consider this much only. So now these all are blocks or pages. Each block can be considered as a page of that particular book. So suppose if I write some data in this particular book, suppose here I write, this is page 1, I write A. This is page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. On page 6, I have written B.
Nitin, sorry to disturb, but a lot of people are saying that your voice is low.
Voice is low.
Yes, just check messages.
I'm not able to see the chat. Just give me a moment. I'll go for the chat as well. Okay. Am I audible now?
Yeah, it's perfectly all right now.
Let me just put it here only. Oh. Okay. Just give me. So am I audible now?
Oh, yes, Nitin. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll just keep it with me only. Okay, so now if I'm going further, okay, so is the screen visible?
Yes.
Thank you. I'm not able to see the chats. So far, is it clear? Like we are talking storage as a book. Is it clear?
Yes, yes. Yes, Nitin. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So now let me type B here on the 6th block, right? Similarly, on the 12th block, I'll type C. Now what happens in this index part, the book will be like, in this index part, it will be like key on the block number 1, there is some data that is A. On the block number 6, there is data B, and on the block number 12, there is data C. This is something that will be available in the index. Now, whenever I'll be deleting any data from my storage, suppose I want to delete C. If I want to delete C, what will the operating system do? It will simply delete this entry from the index. It will delete this entry from the index. That means as per the index of book, the data is not available, but actually the data is there, still there on that part. So what we have done, we have used certain tools like WinHex or FTK Imager or something, where we are able to see that data is available in the storage, but it has been not showing in the storage media, like pen drive or the hard disk drive, because operating system is not able to find it with the help of index. Now index is not showing that data, that's why it is not located in the media. But if we use certain tools, we are able to identify that this data is still available with that particular thing. So you might, what is the relevance in the cybersecurity? You might have heard certain cases where mobile phone is sold to some party, like for example, on to some shops. There are so many cases have been arise where mobile phones and similar storage devices have been sold, thinking that we have deleted all our data. But in actually the data is not getting deleted. It is just in index what is getting deleted. So if I delete something from my storage, it is just not simply getting deleted. There is no concept of deletion in computer science or storage. Nothing can be get deleted in the storage, right? Once it is there, it will be always there until and unless we overwrite the data. How do you overwrite it? Now C is there. So what I will do, I'll use certain things, and I'll come here and I'll put some more data D. So now index will be like, what will be the change in the index? Index will be changed like 12 पे है हमारे पास में. We have D at position number 12, block number 12. So this is the change in the index. So now this C got overwritten by D. So no one is able to get it back. That is the fundamental concept of storage. Overwritten is the key. So again, the cybersecurity suggestion, whenever you share all your data, all your drives or among friends and all, do not just delete your data, overwrite the data. For example, if you have 16 GB pen drive containing your personal data, and now you have deleted that data and giving your pen drive to your friend, make sure you have overwritten that data by putting some more files in that which is not personal. For example, generally you can put some images, some videos, some movies on that data, and then you can delete, so it will be overwritten. Am I making sense so far? Any question? Any question? Okay, so I believe it is more clear. Okay, now let us move towards the another aspect where I was discussing about tools. So how do we capture that data from devices? Let us consider a simple scenario. Suppose on my computer, there is some malware has come to my computer. Let us consider a simple scenario. There is some malware has come to my computer, and you might have heard about ransomware attacks, and also now all my files, due to that ransomware, all my files got locked, right? Now, how would I investigate that from which file that particular malware has come to my system, then, and what changes it has done, how many files have impacted, how many files are malicious, which causes this ransomware to come into my system and all. So for that, I need to analyze two things in the computer. One is RAM. The first thing is something called RAM, and the second thing will be something called the disk, the hard disk of my computer. I need to analyze all these things, including RAM and all. So first, for that, I need a copy of all the data. How would that copy be created? So should I go to each and every folder and control C, control V? That is very tedious as well. Also, that does not carry the essential evidences like timestamp and other things if I simply copy paste the data. So what I will do, I'll use a concept called imaging. To copy the data, entire data, I'll use a concept called imaging. So there is a concept called imaging in digital forensics, which simply means you can create a bit by bit copy of the entire data. So suppose if my storage device has a capacity of 20 bits, for example. So every bit of my storage device will be copied to another position, another storage device. That concept is called imaging or cloning. We generally say it in two terms, imaging or cloning. So if I want to create a single file, that will be imaging. Otherwise, I can clone the data. So bit by bit copy. For that, we use a software tool called FTK Imager, what I have used. So there is a tool called FTK Imager. Again, it is a free tool, what we can use for creating a copy, bit by bit copy of entire data. Using this particular tool, we can create an exact replica of storage device so that later on I can format my disk and do reinstall the operating system and start working again. Whereas I can still investigate the reasons of attack, the parameters of the attack, and what actually happened, what file was there to cause that particular risk. So let me just show you how I can copy it. So I'll just go to file, add evidence item. I'll just create a copy of my pen drive here. So now you can see here's one option called export disk image. So I'll simply go to disk image. Here I just need to give the destination where I want to create an image. So I'll just give the destination for the image. Let me give it a desktop once, okay? and I'll just give class image file, and I'll just put it as 0, finish. Now if I simply click on start, you can see entire data in my pen drive, including the blank space, that is also getting copied to in this image form, and it will create a single file of my entire drive that I can analyze as per my comfort and identify the cause of that particular attack, the ransomware attack, whatever has been happened. So what were the files which were infected using those particular thing, I can easily identify. I hope I'm making sense so far. Great. So as per the size of the drive, it will take some time. That's why I chose a pen drive of 4 GB only. So it will take around 1 minute 40 seconds. Still, it will take around 1 minute 40 seconds to create a complete image. And with that image, we can do the complete analysis for this particular device. I don't require this particular device for that particular task. I'll be simply creating a bit by bit copy of the entire device using this tool called FTK Imager. Okay, and this tool again allows you to create a copy of your system RAM as well. If I click on this, here I just need to choose the destination path and I can take the RAM dump as well for my system. RAM dump means copy of the RAM. So whatever things are running in my system will be copied to the place where I will be choosing. Sorry, I cannot do this right now. Otherwise there may be some impact on the meeting as well. But yes, you can choose the destination path and simply click on capture memory to copy the entire RAM, which we will be doing in the module of malware analysis, where we'll be running some fileless malware and we'll be analyzing those malware. So this is one of the fundamental tool for performing all these type of actions. Am I making sense? Any questions so far? If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Any questions? Okay, great. So now let me tell you one more concept, and I think that might be the last concept for the class. Yes. Okay, so now it is verifying it. Now the verification is doing. How verification is doing? Verification means during the process nothing has changed. Well, so how it is being done? That is the very important part. How this verification is being done. There is a concept called hashing. In digital forensics, in every analysis, there is a concept called hashing. Hashing simply means creating a digital fingerprint. So here you can see as soon the verification got completed, you can simply see that for my data, whatever I have created an image right now, right? And for that image, it has computed the hash. Before creating the image, the hash value of the drive has been calculated. How it is calculated, I'll just show you in a minute, but just understand hashing is a concept like a signature. It is like fingerprint. So once the hash is calculated, there is one value came. After creation of image, the hash value of image has been calculated, right? If both the things matched, then the verification result is match. If somehow hash got changed, that simply means data has been altered. I'll show you the example of hash right now, and then we'll come back to this part. So I'll be using one tool called hash calc. Here, if I put suppose any data, for example, I'm putting class. So hashing is a technique. There are certain mathematical algorithms have been created. So on the left hand side, you are able to see the names like MD5, MD4, SHA1, SHA256. These all are nothing but different mathematical algorithms created to generate the hash values. Okay, great. Now, These are nothing but mathematical algorithms. Need not to worry about how it is working, how does it work and all, what are the calculations is happening. Not our work right now. This is being done by the tool. Now, what happens whenever I write any data, the data is passed through these algorithms. So I'll be just ticking only one MD5 and remaining, so that process will be more faster. So I'll just write any data, and on that data, I'll just tick one algorithm, so that this data will be passed through this particular algorithm. And as soon I click on calculate, a unique value for this data. Again, I repeat, for a unique value for this data will be calculated. And this unique value is called hash, which is calculated by a unique algorithm. So algorithm is something called MD5, message digest 5. And from this algorithm, this unique value has been calculated. Now the point is, good thing about hash value is every time I'll calculate I'll write the same data no matter what tool I'm using. If I write the same data, the unique value will remain always same. If the algorithm is the same and data is same, then the unique value will always remain same. The value will remain same. But suppose I have just added a space after the data and then I calculate, the value will get changed. So any simple alteration in the data will result in change of hash value. That's why hash is the most important parameter in digital forensics, which tells you that data has not altered, data has not got changed. If I delete that space again and I calculate the hash value will become same. Let me do one more experiment. I'll just simply type class again, but this time I'll put the C small. Here the C is capital, here I put C small. And if I calculate, again there will be a different value. So for hash values, always remember the hash value of data gets changed if there is any small change in data. So whether any small or big change is data, if there is a change in data, hash value will change. So now how this hash value is utilized in the cybersecurity, that is the most important part. So I believe all of you have heard about something called antiviruses, right? So what happens with the antivirus? Those antiviruses calculates the hash value of non-malwares or viruses. They calculate the hash value and they store those hash values in the database. So now whenever I scan, antivirus scan any file, they calculate the hash values. If the hash value match with the hash value in the database, for example, I have 10 files, I have calculated the hash value of all 10 files. Great. Now, if any other file will have same hash value matches in the database, that means it is a malware, it is a virus. Otherwise, it is not a virus. This is something called signature-based detection, because hash values are nothing but signature as well, right? Digital, they can be worked as signature for a file. So this is something called signature-based detection, and this is how every antivirus works. One of the technology being used called signature-based detections, where hash values are used. Another example of hash values is, since there is another property of hash value is that for every unique value, hash value will be unique, and from this value, it is not possible to generate the actual value. For example, if I give you this hash value, you cannot generate the class again. It is not possible. That simply means hash value are being used for storing the passwords in the database. So if you are a developer and working on the backend development where you are handling with database, you know that instead of real passwords, the hash value of passwords got stored in the database. So that even the organization which is handling the data cannot see the password of a user, because password is available in the form of hashes, right? So this is the another important concept called hash values. Again, the hash values are very, very important in the digital forensics. With the help of hash values, We can identify whether a file is malicious or not. We can identify the properties of a file. We can identify many details about that particular file. Even in the last classes, I have told you one website called Virus Total. I have told you a website called Virus Total. So on this also you can search with the hash values. So for example, if I just Google if I search on Google and try to find out some hash value of ransomware, okay, so this is a crypt 888 ransomware, and this is the hash value for that particular, right? Now if I go to malware and virus total and search for that, so it will also be able to tell you whether it is a malware or not, right? So on the basis of hash value also, many malicious files can be identified by different type of antiviruses. Like you can see, these all are antivirus: Bitdefender, Cynet, MZSoft, ESET, and Noded32, one of the wonderful antivirus software. So this is how it works. Now, if you have a doubt like how we can calculate the hash values of files or something, so it is very simple. You can simply drag and drop any file to this particular hash calc, and it will generate the hash value for that particular file. Then you can search for that hash value on virus total again to check whether your hash value is malicious or not. So if I search for this, don't find any comments fit your search. Okay. So I believe the concept of hash value is now clear for you all, right? So if you have any doubt, please feel free to ask. If you have any doubt, please feel free to ask.
Nitin, also, if possible, we can talk about the careers on cybersecurity so that people will aware.
Yes, sir. We can.
Yeah, just for a few minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll just share the another PPT for that, and I'll just give you a minute. Okay, so now we'll be discussing something called careers in the cybersecurity. If you're new to cybersecurity, what type of careers you can choose, what to do, what you cannot do, right? So before careers, we need to understand there are multiple domains in cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is not only a term which is like, cybersecurity has many domains. These are some of the domains in the cybersecurity. So suppose you are considering, some of you are from non-technical background, some of you are from technical background. You might have done BSc in computers, might done BC in computers, obviously BC in computers, BTech in computers, or from some other background as well. So there are many domains in the cybersecurity. The first domain is called network security. So suppose you are interested in the organizational networks, right? That how communication happens in that. So you can go for network security. There are many organizations, almost every organization which is concerned about network security. Second, there may be domains related to web security. For every domain, we have different roles. Like for network security, you go for something called Security Operations Center, SOC. We have something called SOC in the network. So they keep monitoring whatever traffic is traveling through the network, whether it is malicious or not. They do digital forensics as well. Then there is something called web security. Web security is something called the organizational web infrastructure, including web server, websites of the organization, web servers of the organization, virtual machines of the organizations, all comes under web security. Then there is something called malware analysis. If you are interested in technical things, go into technicality, you are interested in investigations, then malware analysis is one of the field where you can go. In which, for example, you might have hearing that multiple APK files are being spread on WhatsApp. You or your relative might have got that. So what that APK composed of, whether it contains any malware or not, where the data is going, that all comes under malware analysis. Then again, SOC SIEM is another domain for that. Incident response. If something happened in some organization, then what should they do and how they can overcome with that cyber incident. I'm talking about cyber incident. For example, ransomware attack is very common. Some malware attack, some data has been breached, data has been leaked. All those comes under. So incident response and forensics is another domain. Then security auditing. So whenever an infrastructure is created, if you're from non-technical background, you can go for security auditing as well. So whenever we are creating some infrastructure, whether that infrastructure have some vulnerabilities or not, how attacker can attack. So to identify that, whether my infrastructure is secure or not, there are some guidelines available for every type of infrastructure, right? There is something called ISO 27001 guidelines for organizations. For hospital industries, health industries, there is something called COBA. I'm sorry, I forgot the name. HIPAA. Okay, so are you following those guidelines or not? For in terms of security, for example, there is an hospital, whether the data of patients in that hospital is safe or not, because now everything is connected with the internet. So on internet, whether they are safe or not, you can go for security auditing part. Cloud and IoT security. If you are interested in coding and all, you can go for secure code review. So lot many domains are there, and for every domain there is a huge need of experts right now. Now the question comes, can you learn cybersecurity if you are from non-technical background? So if you can do all these things, you can learn the cybersecurity. If you are using smartphone, if you can Google the things, find out the answer for your challenges and implement those answers to resolve that challenges, right? And finally, you can learn, if you learn from your own mistakes, then yes, you are most welcome to learn the cybersecurity. Okay, so for both IT and non-IT professionals, cybersecurity can be learned. Okay, these are some of the careers. As a beginner, you can start with security architect, penetration testing, SOC analyst, network security engineer, and lot many more career opportunities in cybersecurity. Not only technical side, non-technical side is also there. Even if you write, if you like writing, you can go for technical documentation writer. These are also different opportunities available in the domain of cybersecurity. Even blogs, if you love blogging and other things, that you can also do. If you are from non-IT background, you can go for compliance officer, risk analyst, security awareness trainer, where you will be telling about the basic security awareness things and all, and incident response manager also. So who can lead a team of experts to manage a security breach. So these are some of the things. These are some of the essential skills. Yes, obviously, if you are enrolling in this course of Salvin Global Tech, then obviously we'll be learning all these basics, and then as per the analytical thinking, problem solving skill and communication, we'll be trying to resolve everything in the framework of cybersecurity. And yes, all our courses are highly practically oriented. We do not believe in much theory. So for every class, you'll be having a practical exposure, and the assignments will be there. Even there are a lot many courses available across the globe. So we'll be telling you some best courses, best free courses to do and get a certificate for that as well. And learn challenges, will be providing you lot many challenges, will be providing you lot many courses to do. For sure, for 4 months, you won't be like, you won't have time to do a lot many things. I promise for that. You will be doing a lot many things. You will be learning the practical exposure of cybersecurity, and you will be learning to a secure job. So these are our USPs, where everything will be teaching from the perspective of practical perspective. And we'll be starting with foundation, then we'll be learning about ethical hacking, then we'll be learning about SOC SIEM, incident response, and there will be a project as well. We'll be giving you a broad overview of entire cybersecurity, and then you can dig deeper into a specific domain, whether you want to go into ethical hacking, whether you want to go into SOC team, or some other aspect of cybersecurity. So this is about a brief about careers in the cybersecurity. If you have any doubt related to careers as well, please feel free to ask.
Yeah, hi everyone. Hello.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yes, yeah, hi. Thanks for the wonderful presentation, Nitin. So I'll just brief about our organization. So yeah, I'm Dilip. So I'm the director of Salvin for Salvin Info Systems, as well as Salvin Global Technologies. And Salvin Info Systems is our parent organization. We started in the year 2015, where we are completely into non-IT training as well as corporate training. We do provide corporate training as well as corporate outsourcing, everything. And Salvin Global Technologies, where we started as a for the IT domain, specifically for the IT domain, where we provide training as well as the services. And Salvin Global Technologies is a ISO 27001 as well ISO 90112015, and we are also having international accreditation forum. And so we specially train in cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, and Pega low code no code development. That is without code, we do web developments, all those things, and even data science. So with all these domains, we do provide training as well as services. And for example, under artificial intelligence, we developed a product called AI-based attendance system. So in one click, we can take 100 number of students in one click attendance. So that product also we had developed. And yeah, this is today what we had given is a cybersecurity. It's just a workshop, and it's completely from as Nitin explained, we start from the basic and to advanced. So and all our trainers, they're all very rich industry experts, and they will be having minimum like 10 to 12 year of practical exposure. And who are providing the training, they're all with specialized domain experts, and they will be having specialized with the particular domain. It's not like other institutes where the entire cybersecurity will be taking the like one trainer or two trainers. So we will be having n number of trainers, like minimum like 4 to 5 trainers we do have with the same expertise how the Nitin had given. And we will be putting the trainers based on their domain experts. So definitely you will be having interact with minimum like 4 to 6 trainers with the specialized domains. And so yeah, this is about Nitin, so who had given the presentation and who had given the training till now. And Mr. Nitin Kundal is a professional trainer and practitioner specializing in cybersecurity, cybercrime investigation, and digital forensics. So he holds an MTech in cybersecurity and incident response, and has strong expertise in areas including cybersecurity, cyber fraud investigations, incident response, network and memory forensics, cryptocurrency and blockchain analysis, IoT forensics, and technology-enabled economic offenses. And another trainer, Miss Aishwarya Tiwari, she was also in the presentation. Hello, Aishwarya. Yeah. So is a cybersecurity and digital forensic specialist with extensive experience in threat intelligence, blockchain security, and cyber investigations. She has handled complex cases involving cryptocurrency, dark web, mobile, IoT, and web forensics, and has trained professionals from national intelligence agencies, law enforcement, and the judiciary. Currently working as a senior security engineer at CCS London. So like this, the similar kind of profiles we are having minimum like 4 to 5 trainers, they were going to train you based on their domain expertise, which they were having expertise in their working field. So it's basically, it's a completely a practical oriented training. And I can say like 15 to 20% we will be having the theory, and 80% we will be having the practical experience. So, and yeah, the duration of this, the entire course will be 4 months. So it's from basic to advanced with all the modules, and we also having specialized module training. So that we will be like, for example, SOC, pen testing, all this thing. But this is overall, we will be covering from the basic to advanced with all the topics. So this, the duration will be like 4 months, and based on the learning curve of the students, and based on their how the students or how the candidates, they're going to learn with the practical aspects. The same thing we are based on the learning curve of the candidates, we are going to train this modules. It may extend minimum 4 months, it may extend for another month also. And as I told, like we are having ISO 97001 as well as 2015 certifications, and we issue the certifications from the same. And also it's an international accreditation form, and which is globally recognized. Our certification will be having globally recognized in the market. And we also help for the placements like weekly interviews with different domains. So yeah, and so our services, coming to our services, as I already mentioned, so we are specialized in training as well as services, and trainings into cybersecurity, specialized in cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, Pega low code, and data science. And our services into again the cybersecurity, IT development, consulting, and the payroll outsourcing. So these are all the services, and that is the training wing, and this is the services wing where we are providing. And yeah, this is about the brief introduction about the Salvin Global Technologies. And this is the address and the phone number and the website. So you can visit the website, and you can contact these numbers. So if you want to take up the admissions or any further assistance, you can contact these numbers. And also we will put you in the group as well. So, and probably next week we are going to start the new batch from next week. So those who are interested, you can enroll, you can contact these numbers for the enrollment. And we will be having limited students we will be taking. The maximum number we are taking 15 students per batch, so that we can able to concentrate individually for each and every student, and we can see how they were going to learn the things. So it's not like 30 students or 40 students where we are putting in the batch. We restricted our students, maximum 15 students per batch. Yeah, this is about the Salvin Global Technologies and the batch details. So if you're having any clarifications or if you're having any doubts, you can just you can ask us. We are there to help you, or we are there to clarify your doubts with respect to the subject, or with respect to the organization, or with respect to the admissions. Yes, do we have any doubts? Nitish, Bishwant, Sandhya, Jayant, Chaitanya. Okay. If you're not having any doubts, can we wind up the session? Hi, Nitin.
Yes, sir. I think if they do not have any doubt.
Can we wind up the session?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I think if they do not have any doubt.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you. And thanks for the presentation, Nitin.